We are going to go ahead and get started. My name is Bayleigh Smith. I'm the Welcome Center Coordinator here at the university, and we just want to thank you for joining us for the major discussion on industrial engineering. We have with us Dr. James Curry with the Industrial Engineering Department, as well as a few alumni from the Industrial Engineering Department, and we want to thank them as well for being with us and being willing to kind of share a little bit about their experiences. And we want to thank you for joining us. So we hope that you get out what you want out of this session. A few things before we get started. If you will look at the bottom of your screen, there is a chat feature. At any point in time, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those, and we will address those. There will be about 20 minutes or so at the end of this session for you to ask as many questions as you would like. So put those in the chat and we'll address them then. And another thing is that we are recording this for future students to be able to come back and view this and get all the information that we shared today. And we're going to go ahead and get started with, I think Dr. Curry is going to kick us off. So I'm going to hand it over to him.
Well, one of the big things is what is industrial engineering and what are the career paths that you have? And since we have two distinguished alumni on the call, I'd like for them to take a few minutes to discuss industrial engineering, what they think it means, and then we'll give a short video presentation, about 2 minutes, and then a slideshow. And our guest alumni can take as long or as short as they need to describe industrial engineering. They have interesting stories, as do all of our graduates, as to where the IE takes them in their career. So I'll let either one of them speak.
Who wants to go first?
Livonia, you want to go first?
Sure. So for me, IE has been exactly what it was described in the little Lamar engineering book that I chose this engineering discipline from, which is kind of the bridge between what actual engineering design and building and making things to the business side. So in all of my career, it has been pretty much being in between what makes business sense and then what's the new innovative, or what are the things that we need to improve on to continue making this world more efficient, more safe, and making businesses grow. So in all of the industries that I've worked in, which is oil and gas, the maritime port industry, and now construction and Amazon, industrial engineers have really been at the forefront of taking those businesses to the next level. And it really does allow someone who is technically savvy and tactically basically driven to be able to also function on a strategic long-term focus and be able to bring true value to a business. So it's really a business of creating value and continuing to build on what we've already done as an industry or as a company or even as a country. I've been involved in all three of those sections, and it's been a really nice place to see everything from a 50,000 or 100,000 foot view in some cases. So it's been the best part of engineering for me. I'm glad that I chose this discipline, and it's only been a foundational piece that I could build on for anything I'd want to do in life. So it's a great place to start for anyone who's thinking about engineering.
Okay, offer a few comments. I graduated from Lamar with an IE degree in 1964, but that IE degree, just as Livonia was saying, has seen me through so many different things. Interestingly, right from the start, when I got out of Lamar, I was accepted into the MBA program at the University of Chicago and went there. And Brian knows his story. The dean knows his story, and that is at the end of our first year, people were interviewing for a summer job. There's a consulting firm, McKinsey, that's got a great reputation. Many of you may have heard of McKinsey. And they were there, and they talked to me, about some present value cash flow concepts and those types of things. I had been so well schooled at Lamar on those topics that when the interviewer was asking me, she was asking me about it, I was able to actually quote one of the formulas. She said, well, how would you address that problem? Well, here's the formula, I said. And she looked at me kind of strangely, like, and not because I'm some brilliant person, but because the instructors had gotten this into us in such depth. And I went to work for McKinsey that summer. They kept me there during the next my second school year were just great. And the summer afterwards, and then I came down to University of Houston and finished up, after I got my MBA, got a PhD in economics. But the point is that, as Livonia was saying, the fundamentals that we get our hands around there in industrial engineering, and as well as I'd say in many of the engineering sections, but you really understand the fundamentals of a business. You really don't say you understand them, you're positioned to look at them and work to understand them in each situation, which are different. And here we are now, you know, this is over 50 years later, and we're getting brought in on major litigation, business litigation that erupts, disputes over business conduct, who did what, where, when, who caused damages, what were those damages. And so much of that engineering, those engineering fundamentals crosses right over into that. There are 30 of us, everybody's basically retired, but we get into some fascinating projects in terms of trying to assess when things go wrong. For example, one of the things some of you may remember, in 2003, there was a blackout in August of 2003 that knocked out the power 55 million people. It started in Ohio and moved up to the Northeast. We were brought in to look at the actions of the board and senior management of the utility where this blackout started, and to answer a basic question: were they asleep at the switch, or did they get caught in a perfect storm? All that background from Lamar, starting right there in those fundamentals, has served me very, very well.
Well, thank both of you for giving that introduction, and I'm sure both of you can testify to the fact that, you know, starting from Lamar, you've literally gone all over the world solving problems, and especially I know Livonia has done that. The industrial engineering is a fantastic starting point. I'm going to quickly display a video here. I hope this works. If it doesn't, I apologize. We're using high-tech equipment here about our program.
I picked Lamar because it was nationally ranked and recognized engineering program, but also afforded me the flexibility to take courses online.
My most memorable experience is probably senior design. It helped me learn how to work on a team, learn how to solve problems, and face hard challenges.
My research assistant position under Dr. Zhu was to design a offshore platform.
We redesigned the plant layout to improve efficiency and suggested an inventory control method to help track the inventories.
My LU experience has been 100% online, and it has been a very eye-opening experience and a good experience. I've been able to juggle home life, work life, and school life very effectively.
Lamar was great. The program worked for me. They have online programs in case you go for an internship, and they also offer in-class classes, which works great.
The faculty at Lamar University are awesome. They take time out of their own personal time to make sure that they help you with your academics and your career opportunities. They want the best for you, and they're here to provide that personal time whenever you need it.
What am I doing next? I will be getting much more sleep, but I will continue to work with the current company that I'm working with now.
I accepted a job in the aerospace industry as a program quality engineer.
I have currently accepted a position in Houston at a company who does electrical heat tracing, and then I'll pursue my MBA.
I've currently accepted a full-time offer in Palmdale, California as an entry-level industrial engineer in the aerospace industry.
Okay, that video does a good job of explaining a lot of the student experience in 2 minutes. You know, all of those students did co-ops and internships. Sorry, let me stop this. Like I said, this is not the the easiest thing to do. This is our first run through. All of the students did co-op and internships. They all did fantastic senior design projects. One of the really unique things about our department is that we have real senior design projects at corporate sponsors. I put real in quotes, but basically you go out and solve a problem in a company for your senior design project. We have a few that are not company sponsored. For instance, that robot was built by a team as a case study, basically asked the question, what's the cheapest robot you can build that can have decent tolerances? So it's really a fascinating degree. And I'm going to discuss in a PowerPoint presentation some of the highlights of the department and give you an idea on the degree plan. I hope everybody can see this. If you can't, unmute and tell me. The degree, I'm a professor here at Lamar University. I teach production inventory control, supply chain management sort of issues, as well as data mining. Next. Now, what is industrial engineering? And this is the hardest thing, and our speakers partially described it. Livonia put it as the mixing of business and engineering, which is a pretty good definition. IE deals not only with things, but also with people, finance, information, and the environment. And what we really try to do is to teach our students the skills, both math, engineering, management, and design, to solve complex problems. And I could write pages of problems that our students solve, but here are some common ones. How do we improve safety, quality, and productivity? What products and services should we offer? What price should we charge? I have a student who works for Walmart who helps them set at their corporate office, helps them look at their data and set the price for the items that you buy in the store. How do we get the products to our customers? Quite a few of our students design complex transportation networks. I did that with GM before coming to Lamar. How do we motivate and reward people? How much inventory do I need in my supply chain? Where should I locate my plants, my stores, my warehouses? How can I use data to improve my business process? And since we are engineering students, we have the math understanding to really develop sophisticated models for business. Where do our students work? Industrial engineers are interesting. Even though most of our students go to work in manufacturing, industrial engineers can find employment in a wide area, including healthcare, banking, consulting, transportation, warehousing, retail, government. My brother's an industrial engineer, and he works for a major bank on Wall Street. Recent LU graduates have found employment at Bell Helicopter, Boeing, Schlumberger, Invista, Georgia Pacific, BASF, consulting with Accenture and IBM, HP, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Ford, Walmart, Amazon, Disney, and many of the local companies and many other companies. The starting salary is really dependent on industry. It's anywhere from 60 to 75K depending on industry. The median pay for industrial engineers is $87,000 according to Bureau of Labor Statistics. But a lot of industrial engineers transition out of an industrial engineering role, so that number is probably a little bit low. You know, it's really been an honor here at Lamar that we have gotten a lot of acclaims for our department. Lamar ranks #5 for return on investment according to PayScale in a 2017 survey, which was fantastic. Our department ranks #1 for value based on an evaluation by the SR Group due to low tuition and high mid-career earnings of $110,000. LU Online ranks us #1 for affordability and best overall. In the BSIE degree was ranked #4 for online engineering, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. What makes us a great place to go? And there's so many things I could put on this slide. One is we have outstanding labs for undergraduates. Our students actually know how to use equipment. Our undergraduates build a hammer in one of our courses. We have the makerspace, which is a brand new space where students can go in and on their senior design projects build things. Our senior design projects use real projects that allow students to either build things or develop ideas and business ideas that work in the real world. We have very active student organizations. The picture above is our students at Disney World for the annual conference of IIE. And we have faculty in all areas of IE, ranging from operations research, which is math and statistics, to safety, to manufacturing, to supply chain management, to reliability. Now, another reason to come to Lamar is that most of our graduates participate in internships or co-ops, or actually some of them work full-time while going to school. And the reason why Lamar is uniquely situated for internships and co-ops is the industrial engineering department offers all junior and senior level courses, both online and in person. And this allows on-campus students the flexibility to complete courses while working, which is fantastic opportunity. The other thing that's important just about engineering in general is that internships and co-ops allow you to get your foot in the door at a company, and engineering internships are typically paid anywhere from $18 to $22, $25 an hour. And it's a great opportunity to learn what you want to do and to get you into great companies. We've had people internships from everything from Honda to Disney World in our program. It's a very flexible degree. It's a great degree plan that includes 4 electives. Electives, senior designs, internships, and undergraduate research can help you customize your experience. We are offering a new automation certification, which deals with robotics and controls, which some of you may want to take advantage of. We have electives in project management, data mining, SAP. We have a 4+1 option with the MBA program and with our graduate school if you want to immediately get your MBA. So there's lots of paths to customize your degree. And like I said, most people use the internships and co-ops as a method of figuring out what they want to do and really learning beyond the classroom. There are so many avenues for learning at Lamar. You have your courses and your electives, you have senior design, you have internships and co-ops, you have undergraduate research, and then you have our professional societies. And all of those work together. Now, our degree plan, I just want to highlight some of the things. The first year, you basically take your science and math courses to get you prepared to being an engineer. Your second year, you take engineering economic analysis, where you learn how to make investments, which was talked about by Dr. Grace. You have a materials process lab where you actually make a hammer, which teaches you what machines are, how they work. There's an academic component, which is the physics of cutting metal, but there's also a hands-on component, which a lot of universities don't have. You take a work design course where you learn how to set up a work environment for people that's both safe and productive. And then the interesting courses, I guess, for industrial engineers tend to come in the last 2 years. We have probability and statistics courses. We have industrial management, where you learn how to manage people. We have production and inventory control, where you learn inventory methods and other concepts involving production systems. We have quality control, where you learn how to monitor processes to make sure they're producing quality product. We have operations research, which is, of course, dedicated to optimizing systems with math. We have computer integrated manufacturing, which is basically a course on designing parts in CAD. We have simulation, which teaches you how to build sort of digital versions of systems that you can then study and ask, what happens if I add a new machine to this assembly system? We have safety, which is a very important course, especially today, which teaches you how to make safe work environments for people. And then finally, the big change to our degree plan, we've added a course in automation as a requirement instead of an elective where you learn about robotics and other automation techniques. They're changing the world. The world's fascinating today. So much change is happening with the whole automation and automating business processes and intelligent agents and robotics. And IEs are at the center of that change. So let me, with that, open up to questions, and feel free to ask me questions, or even better, ask one of our guests questions.
Hi, Dr. Curry. This is Haley, and I see a question here that I want to share with you, and it says, what does the SAP electives stand for?
SAP is a business system. It's a ERP system. All of the major companies in Beaumont, like if you drive around here, every chemical company, every automotive firm uses SAP to run their business. And it's an ERP system, which is an enterprise resource planning system. And if it involves a dollar bill, it goes in the SAP system. It's the way I like to think about it. So it's HR, payroll, inventory control. Even if you had a chair in an office, it would be a record in the SAP system. So if you know how to use SAP, it's going to give you a significant advantage when finding a job at the many companies that use it. And I would say half the Fortune 500 runs SAP, and almost all the chemical industry does, most of the automotive also. And so it's a ubiquitous program. Everybody uses it. And why do you need a course to learn it? It's fairly complicated. And if you know how to navigate, use the tool, and understand the concepts of the tool, you can really make a career in that space.
It looks like we have another question. Could you talk more about the makerspace?
Okay. The makerspace, it's a shame Dr. Bradley's not on the call. The makerspace is a brand new space inside of our new science and technology building. It's about, I forget how many square feet, but it's a fairly big space. We have probably 10 or 15 pieces of equipment in there, ranging from 3D printers to lathes, drills, and mills, where students can actually go in and build things. And that's a great question. So that's it in a nutshell. Okay, I'll answer the questions in the order that they came in. There are graduate programs in industrial engineering, and at Lamar and at other locations. One of the things that's really surprised me is that we've had a lot of students who graduate and then work and then get their degree. And if Livonia is still on the call, maybe she could discuss her experience at
Yes, I can. I'm still here.
Rutgers.
Yeah, at Rutgers. So I actually did 3 internships from Lamar while I was in school with my undergrad. So I did 2 internships at a chemical plant just outside of Houston, which is now Lyondale Basel. And then I did 1 at Disney World. I left, went oil and gas, and then I got my master's in industrial and systems engineering from Rutgers University. And it had a specialization in quality and reliability. So that was after having a few years of work experience. And then I'm actually finishing up now my MBA after it's almost been 9 years since I graduated with my master's. So it does, like I said before, the foundation is great to be able to build on if you want to get another master's either in the business section or the engineering section. IE is basically the place to start.
And yeah, both of our alumni on the call have gotten multiple graduate degrees after graduating from Lamar. I know a lot of our students, some who work full time, have actually gotten part-time masters at places ranging from Central Florida. Some of the UC, we got one in the UC system. We have one at UTA. Just all over the country, and we have one who's actually working on his doctoral degree part-time at Florida after completing here. So you know, there's a lot of possibilities for graduate school, both at Lamar and elsewhere. Now, the next question from Ryan is a great question. What is the difference between industrial engineering and industrial technology? Industrial engineering is a calculus-based degree. Our technology program is an algebra-based degree. Our technology program is mostly designed for people with associate's degrees in applied associate's degrees, applied in things like process operator. They're very different degrees, but they're good degrees. You know, if you're not a math person, our industrial technology program is a path maybe to industry that doesn't involve as much math. Now, you know, there's not much overlap actually between the two programs. There are only 2 or 3 courses that are shared between the 2 programs, but they're both really good programs. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, it looks like we have a question from Miriam, and she says she is in the Dallas area, and she's wondering how she can connect with the IE local internships for high school students. And do we have any suggestions or words of advice about that?
Usually, most of the time, people get internships their junior year of college. So that's you know the and then if you want to search the Dallas area, you can search the Dallas area. You usually want to do an internship as a high school student. Now, another better thing to do is what can you do to prepare for an engineering degree? And the main thing is just make sure that you're comfortable with the math the first semester and can pass your courses your first semester. It gets a lot easier after the first semester. It's hard for everybody the first semester, so spend a little bit of time studying during the summer your math fundamentals for the first math course that you take, regardless of what that course could be. If you enroll in calculus your first semester and took it in high school, you know, refresh the calculus a little bit before you start. If you're in pre-cal going into calculus, refresh those concepts from high school to get prepared for the math. So most internships, people get them their junior or sophomore year, so second or third year of university.
And she's also wondering if the Bachelor of Science IE degree is a full-time online program.
Yes, well, yes and no. If you're going to do, our degree is online the last 2 years, and really all but a couple of courses are online. The physics course is not online. If you wanted to live in Dallas and attend our program, you would have to take physics at a community college and some of the other courses at the community college, and then you could enroll as a distance student. Now, what benefit does it have to go to a university that allows that? Well, one of the things is that we have some really, really cool students who are working exciting jobs that you'll be in class with. You know, we've had students who work in Disney's HR department in our program. We've had students who work, who supervise 100 people at manufacturing firms in Houston in our program. And so these people bring a wealth of experience to the classroom. I got off the phone with somebody the other day who does oil wells and 45 years old. So in that area, he's a subject matter expert. And we've also had some students, traditional students, who for whatever reason couldn't leave their local area, be it children or families or whatever, who have also done the online component. And today we have about 30 people in senior design and about 15 of them are online students and 15 are traditional face-to-face students. I hope that answered the question.
And Tiffany would like to know, what is it like to be in the industrial engineering field, and what could her future look like after college?
I'll let my two alumni speakers speak on that.
I think Livonia has a great field. She's a little closer to it than I am. So why don't you take it, Livonia? Because I've heard you talk before, and it's just a great discussion of the range of things that you've been involved in and seen others.
Sure. I had a very, I guess, interesting, and a lot of IEs can attest to this, background. So like I said before, I had 2 internships in the chemical industry right there in Texas between Houston and Beaumont. And then I did Disney World, which was very interesting. Disney's backbone is industrial engineering, if anyone was wondering. That's pretty much how they make sure that those parks stay relevant. And then went to oil and gas. So I drilled on oil rigs internationally. And I've lived in 6 of the 7 continents. So anywhere from Australia to Mexico, Argentina, you name it. I've been pretty much everywhere with oil and gas, the North Sea, Africa. And then I did that for almost 10 years. And in there, I actually got my master's in industrial engineering, which also just kind of opened up the world even more. And then from there, I went to the port industry. So all of our imports and exports that come into this country, whether it's cars, trucks, steel, cruise ships, containers, whatever you can think of. I helped to optimize those systems. And then right now I'm actually doing dual work between Amazon. So I'll be helping to launch all of the Amazon delivery stations. So basically going from an 18-wheeler packages to little blue vans of packages to make sure that people can get their one-day shipments in one day after COVID-19. So I'm helping to set up where those are going to be in major metropolitan cities around the US. And I'm also working in the construction industry, so helping to figure out where and how to optimize the use of anything that comes from a quarry. So as anything, oh, I can hear myself. As any rock gets blasted, it creates one type of rock and then a lot of excess rock. So it's how do you make sure that all of that gets used whenever they actually go into a quarry and get rock out of it. So I've been able to basically move around to any industry, and it's been fantastic in each one. And you really get to learn and pick up what's the fundamentals and the foundations of those industries, and then you help to make it better. So you may not have been the person to come up with the original idea, you're the person who comes up with the next best thing, and that's always an awesome place to be. So your career is anything you want to make it, essentially.
I think what she has to say is a great example of what happens when you look at the 30 gals and guys in our group. We had no idea starting about 15 years ago that we'd be brought in on these assignments and looking at these things and you know, tell us what went wrong, tell us who did what, where, when. And it's drawing on that experience. We do not know. I mean, certainly with what we've been going through lately with the pandemic, we do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. One thing we know is things will change. And when you've got a background that covers a lot of ground and you continue to move in other areas and continue learning, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's amazing what comes up over time that turns out to be very interesting, exciting, and continuing your own personal growth. So I think she captures that where she is, all she's done. But I would say also what all those are great stepping stones for other things that she'll be doing going forward.
And yeah, let me add a little bit to that. You know, we have students working in almost every industry, but the common thread with IE is that you're solving sort of problems. And it could be anything from installing a new machine, designing a new plant, to day-to-day management type issues. You know, operational activities that make the world go. And you know, it's basically every industry, and there's lots of opportunity to see the world as an IE. Yeah, when I was working for GM, worked with people from China, South Africa, Europe, the whole world on projects in Mexico as well. And you get to experience culture in a way that is fantastic. And just you know, it's an eye-opening experience when you work with people from around the world, either on the phone like we are today, or more than often than not in person. That doesn't mean everybody's going to travel internationally. There are a lot of people who do their career at one location, but there are also a lot of people as you go through your career that you see the world.
And actually, Dr. Curry, to add to that, to anyone who's wondering, eventually what happens is people are paying you for your brain. They're paying you for the way you think and the way you approach solving problems, like he just said. So essentially, it doesn't matter what industry you decide to go into, people want the way that you approach a problem and the questions that you ask maybe have never been asked in that way before. And it all comes from the way you're trained as an IE. So you're going to end up being at some point somewhat consulting on some project or some issue. And that's essentially what they want, is you to come in and bring a new perspective and a new way of looking at things. And that's what IEs do.
And any additional questions from our student audience? Well, if there are no more questions, we had intended this to be a 40-minute call, and it looks like we're hitting exactly 40 minutes. So done like an IE, you know, on time, 3 minutes early.
All right.
And I appreciate the questions from the students, and I appreciate all of you taking the time, especially our two guests. With that, I'll turn it back to our moderator.
Thank you so much,
And then
Dr.
let me say one final thing before we go. That there are lots of opportunities for scholarships and for other things that are on different calls. This was really intended to be the "What is IE" call, not what are the great things about Lamar. So I hope I've covered everything, and now I'll turn it back to our moderator.
Thank you so much, Dr. Curry, and thank you so much, Livonia and Stephen, for joining us. We definitely enjoy hearing from our alumni and hearing what it's like after you graduate and the different things that you can do. So thank y'all for just being willing to be here and to share that. And thank you, everybody, for just being here and listening in. At this moment, I'm going to give you a brief second. If you want to be reached out to our engineering department, our admissions team, and our visit team, please put your email in the chat function right now. If you aren't comfortable sharing your email to everybody, you can change the to say Lamar University, and it's going to go to me. And I'll be able to get your email to whoever you would like. If you want to speak with the engineering department more, if you want to know more on the admission side, we do have admission counselor Isis here with us, who's just kind of been here in case there was any admissions questions asked. She has put her email in the chat, so if you want to reach out to her, her email is there as well. And we just thank you all for coming, and I'm going to give you all just a few seconds to put your email in, and I'm going to turn it over to Haley, who's the marketing coordinator for the College of Engineering, and she's just going to kind of give you a brief little thank you and share her contact slide screen. So I'm going to turn it over to her. Give her just a second to get her screen shared. All right, Haley, you are good to go to share your screen and say whatever you'd like to say to end us out.
All right. Well, again, as they said, my name is Haley Strahan, and I am the Director of Recruitment and Student Services for the College of Engineering. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for being here. I want to thank Dr. Curry and our guests for being here with us today to talk to you. And I just want to share this with you. This is our contact information If you should want to reach out to us, we are so happy to help. We are here for you as you're going through the process of deciding what schools you want to attend and what your major is going to be. We're here for you. If you could leave your email in the private chat, we will reach out to you so that we can stay connected. And once again, we're so happy that you came, and please let us know if there's anything we can do for you. And I think that would be the end for me.
Thank you so much, Haley, for sharing that with us. And like she said, put your email in the chat function and we will definitely reach out to you. But as for today's major discussion on the College of Engineering and Industrial Engineering specifically, we thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you in one of our other sessions. And go to lamar.edu/visit to find out more about what those sessions are. Thanks and have a great day.